So, hello everyone, this is Bhante Joe here, and I'm just here at a large rock near the Kutni I'm staying in, and thought to record a short Awada for the internet. So I thought that could start with a little meditation, so I can lean forward a bit and arch the spine, and look about 3 feet in front, and close our eyes. And can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side. May all beings to my right be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings to my right be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side and our left hand side. May all beings to my right and my left be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, and in front. May all beings to my right, my left, and in front be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front and behind, in all 4 directions. May all beings in all 4 directions be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front, behind, and above. May all beings in all 4 directions and above be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front, behind, above, below, all around in every direction, everywhere. May all beings all around in every direction, everywhere, be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make our minds infinite, can make them unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. And can open our eyes and do a short Owada for the internet. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. So hope that everybody's having a great day wherever it might be, and just came out to this large flat section of rock over here near the Kuti, and it's kind of a lovely area with lots of flat rocks and maybe places to camp too. And so was had a discussion with someone today, and was discussing about meditation, and well, maybe not so much meditation topics, but just Dhamma life in general. And one of the topics that came up, or that came up in the discussion, is that sometimes a person's Dhamma life is kind of not that exciting. It's kind of just learning to do the basic things every day, same way every day. And I remember when I was young, there was this movie called The Karate Kid. I don't know, kind of probably nowadays, maybe, I don't know if they still have Karate Kid movies, or there's, maybe they're up to Karate Kid 10, or maybe they stopped when I was young. But in any event, when I was young, it was very popular. It was about this kind of young man who wanted to learn karate, and he goes to meet this Japanese gentleman who's moved into his neighborhood and was a karate master. And so he tells him he wants to learn karate, and then the karate master starts having him do all these chores. Kind of, it kind of has him like, I think it was like paint his fence and, put wax on his car. So he showed him this way to put wax on the car, and it's kind of wax on, wax off. You go wax on, wax off like this, and that's how you put wax on the car. And he's doing all these chores for a really long time. And he goes to complain to the karate teacher, whose name was Mr. Miyagi. And he says, I've been doing all these chores, I'm not learning any karate. And then, and then Mr. Miyagi says, okay, he goes to punch. He says, okay, do wax on, do wax off. He goes to punch him, and he does wax on, and he blocks the punch. You do wax off, he blocks the punch. He kind of learned to block with both his right and left hand. And so, typically in most apprenticeship modes of training, most modes of training aimed at developing a person's character as well as their skills, there's an element to this training that involves doing things the same way over and over again for a long period of time. And part of the reason for this is that when one does the same thing over and over again, it becomes basically a habit and a lifestyle that one adopts. It becomes a skill that one can easily fall back on. So in Dhamma training, in the training of the Dhamma, there's things that one just does over and over again. If one is a lay person, especially in Sri Lanka, people do dhanas over and over again. It becomes second nature. It just becomes part of their life. People learn to keep sila over and over again. Actually, I was surprised. I went to, there's a family who helps me out and they call them kapiyakarus. And there's a house close to here, and they're kind of the kapiyakaru for this kuti. If one needs anything for the kuti, then one can sometimes discuss with the gentleman there. And the mother came out all dressed in white one day, and she was going to keep the 8 precepts. And so the following day I asked them, I was like, do you keep the 8 precepts all day? Like, do you not eat afternoon? They're like, yeah, we keep the 8 precepts all day. So I got quite impressed. So they keep this kind of sila once a month, all day. They keep the 8 precepts. And this becomes a habit. It becomes part of the way that one lives, doing it all the time, all day. And then, of course, there's the practice of meditation that one tries to do and make it a habit, make it just a part of one's lifestyle, part of the way that one operates. So one of the things with this is that these practices, if one does them many times, it doesn't give this same feeling of like amazing inspiration. One kind of maybe does one's first dawn and, one has this kind of amazing memory, or one keeps the precepts for the first time. Oh, it's amazing. It was kind of difficult, but I noticed some changes in the way that my meditation felt. Or especially maybe one's meditating for the first few times. Maybe not for everybody, but for maybe many people. I was talking to a fellow monastic who started in the Goenka tradition. He was talking about his first retreat, just kind of how profound it was in terms of affecting his life and having changes on his life. But the subsequent retreats didn't have the same effect. But in any event, part of the reason why these things, they have this kind of wow factor for the first time is their novelty. It's a contrast between the life that one had and or the way that one was used to doing things and a new way that one is doing things. But part of the way that one learns to train the mind in the Buddhist tradition is not necessarily to look for this wow factor all the time. Of course, one is aiming to make these permanent changes and have results in one's practice. But part of that is basically this incremental progress. It's kind of incremental, day by day, step by step. One should feel that one is moving forward more or less and gaining in skills, but one is also learning to develop this lifestyle, kind of this lifestyle where one makes changes to the way one lives, that one doesn't regress on. One makes this change and doesn't fall back. And that's a process that is slow and steady. So remember when I was in university, I was a kind of a business student. And they would map the way that these changes take place in, especially business is often coupled with technology, the way that changes would take place in the way that things are done. So, you would have records, and then you would have tapes, then you would have CDs, and now they have MP3s and whatever else people are using now. Probably, I don't know if MP3s are still used, but whatever, maybe some change after that, I don't know. But in any event, the way that these changes tend to take place is you have a new technology, and then it has incremental improvements. You get a record, and maybe they develop a new type of record, like an LP record, or a better sounding record, or a better playing record player, and it keeps going like that. And then there's a revolutionary change. You have tape cassettes, and maybe you have tape cassettes at the beginning that aren't so good. They improve these minor things step by step by step, and you have a revolutionary change to a CD. And so the way that one can practice is in a similar fashion. One is kind of aiming towards kind of changes in one's life, changes in one's practice that have a profound effect. But the way that one progresses towards them is often this step-by-step process. There's kind of a sutta where the Buddha describes the 8 wonderful advantages of the ocean. And he says, in the same way as the ocean has a gradual slope with no sudden drop-off, so too, in this Dhamma and discipline, progress is gradual, without a kind of not sudden, not like a cliff. And so the wearing away of one's defilements can sometimes occur in these ways through routines that develop lifestyles that make incremental changes. One kind of learns to meditate day after day until it becomes a habit where one is firm, and then one can add a little more. One learns to give dana and try to perfect the factors of giving dana, doing it out of faith, doing it with respect, doing it with a generous heart, doing it at the right time, doing it without denigrating oneself and others, and doing this over and over again and getting good at it till it becomes part of one's life. One learns to perfect sila, trying to learn to keep the 5 precepts perfectly, keep the 8 precepts, and when these things become a foundation, one can learn to build higher things on them. And in some cases, one doesn't abandon giving dana or doing these various things, but some cases one can switch to a new mode of practice when one has gained the kind of foundation one needs from the more foundational modes. You could call it a foundational mode of practice. So in the Karate Kid, eventually that Karate Kid, after moving off of doing all those chores, he eventually became quite good at karate in that movie, and even ended up fighting this is a movie, of course, not a real life example, but ended up fighting in this kind of karate competition with a broken leg. But monastics, or people who train in the Dhamma, they start off in these ways, learning to keep these incremental things, and then sometimes their their life is ready for a revolutionary change. So in the time of the Buddha, there were people who, one goes from maybe keeping the 8 precepts, not keeping them at all, to starting to keep them a little, to keeping them all the time. And then there's people in the time of the Buddha who basically kept the 8 precepts for life, which is quite the change. I've known Dhamma practitioners sometimes who actually changed their livelihood, changed their career to bring it more in line with the Dhamma. And for a monastic, sometimes after one's initial period of training with a teacher, one can then strike off on one's own to spend more time in solitude to try to see if one can practice meditation alone, which is what the Buddha highly recommended. And so these kind of incremental changes are things that one can build on to lead to larger lifestyle changes. But they're always the foundation, or they're the foundation. They're what makes one travels down this slope of the ocean, gradually. One kind of gradually learns to do chores, gradually learns each karate move, and one gradually planes away one's defilements. So the Buddha has a sutta where he says, just like carpenter's apprentice, in the wearing away of their handle, they can't say this much is worn away now, this much is worn away yesterday, but when their fingerprints appear on the adze handle, they know. And of course, when it's fully worn through, then one knows. But it comes from this steady effort every day. It comes from this lifestyle of using that tool. And in the same way, the profound insights that one hopes for from the Dhamma, they're built on these foundational practices. They're built on the foundation of sila. They're built on the foundation of samadhi. They're built on the foundation of panya. They're built on dana. They're built on sila. They're built on bhavana. That starts little, that becomes a factor of our life, just a lifestyle that we do, and that can build from incremental changes to revolutionary changes, so that people get the results in the practice that they hope for, so that these things become a part of their life. Okay, so I think leave that for reflection, and hope that everybody has a great day wherever it might be, and wishing you all the blessings of Dhamma practice. Pati Pati Saranai.